So I am actually going to be staying on stage for a little bit of time now. We are going to be talking about something very exciting. We are very excited at P&A about it, and we hope that you are too, because it's going to be a big deal for the cluster. And I'm going to bring up to speak about this with me Dale King. He's our business development manager. Please welcome him to stage.
Good morning. Am I on?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. So we're here to talk about, we were recently awarded at P&A the ICAP program, or the ICA program, the Innovation Cluster Accelerator. And we're here to talk to you a little bit about what that means, what we're planning, and how you can get involved with it. So we have a clicker. Go ahead. So the Commerce is supporting 5 industry-led innovation clusters, and if you were here on Wednesday, you heard Robin talking about that. And it is their clusters intended to drive innovation, overcome barriers, create access to new market opportunities, attract talent and capital. I know you all must think I'm biased, but this is by far the best aerospace cluster in the world, and the ICAP program is just going to allow us to bolster that even more. The goal of it, like it said, is to drive innovation, drive collaboration, and I think one of the biggest reasons that we were chosen for this is our ability to drive collaboration as an organization. Washington has such a unique ecosystem here. They have large OEMs. They have the aluminum mill over in Spokane area. And the beauty of it is it really touches all 4 corners of the state of Washington. Aerospace is in the fiber of our being here in Washington. And as a result of creating that ecosystem here, that's really spread into the other states in the Pacific Northwest, like Idaho, Montana, into BC with the Canadian folks there that do aerospace as well. We have machining centers, so many machining centers. We have electronics manufacturing, all of the outside processing like paint and finish. We have logistics. And what I think really makes us unique is there's not another cluster that has the technology capability that we do here as well. We have the companies like Microsoft and even Facebook, and we're seeing Amazon getting into the web services to support the aerospace industry as well. So I think that perfectly aligns us to continue to be the best aerospace cluster in the world and just get even bigger. I know that we've all heard so much this week about collaboration. Almost every single speaker that's come up here to talk has talked about collaboration. And that's what we're going to be doing through this program. We're going to be, these are all the key current and future ecosystems in the Pacific Northwest. We have commercial aerospace, defense, space, so many different kinds of space. We have delivery craft, payloads, satellites. I know that, we've all heard a thing or two from our analysts about unmanned aerial vehicles, but we do love our ecosystem for that here in the Gorge. Potential for supersonic and hypersonic over in Moses Lake, electric propulsion with aviation and magniacs, alternate energy propulsion with hydrogen, and maintenance and repair, as we just heard from Paul and the other guys up here on stage. We have a lot to be optimistic about in this area. That's why I wanted to make sure we introduce it all to you, because it's all here and it's available for the diversification of your businesses. And we're going to be bringing everybody together as part of this program. So currently, P&A was formed to bring together advanced manufacturers and the service providers in the industry. And that's really what this goal of this conference is to bring everybody together. We try to provide industry intelligence, big trade conferences like this one, B2B opportunities like you're going to see later today, professional networking. I think everybody, we hear over and over and over again that the biggest value of what we do of P&A is our networking. And, we're going to be even developing that further with some technical training and personal development training as well. But for over 20 years, we've been facilitating the collaboration through this industry, both regionally and globally. That's why we've been able to take advantage of some of the STEP grants that some of you maybe even used to get here, is because we have a global presence from Germany and Canada that come in that really allow us, we have coined the aerospace without borders, and I really think that we do that here. So we are just all about collaboration and bringing people together. This is a great slide we have here of our international delegation from 2 years ago. And then over here we have the convening of the clusters program that Melanie put together when she was with PNAA that really brought all of the nonprofits, all of the industry associations together to talk about how we tackle the challenges and things that the industry is facing here. So Dale's going to take you through. He has been doing a tremendous amount of work on this program and really has been the expert for ICAP and helping us win this program. So he's going to take this on and tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing and what our intention is with this program.
So it's a pretty exciting time, actually, especially as we talk about collaboration, because how do we collaborate? How are we going to collaborate? What's the process? What's the system? What are the frameworks? What are the structures that we're going to use? How are we going to actually measure outcomes, have outcomes, and set goals and such? So we talk a lot about collaboration, but how are we going to do it? So with the programs, the several programs that the state has already started, we talk a lot about, or we mention anyways, we are very familiar with Blue Origin, but I want to talk about Maritime Blue. That's the blue I want to talk about. That's the one I want to pay attention to, because they started a couple years ago with an innovation cluster strategy, and they're rocking and rolling. And they're moving, and they are committed to a sustained economy, more jobs, higher jobs, and coming together. And so that's what we need to talk about. And one of the things that we're known for is our ability to collaborate. I mean, we're actually renowned for that. And we need to understand that collaboration and that ability to work together is our competitive advantage in the world. And so how do we do it, though? And how do we get somewhere with it? So when we start talking about clusters and the formation of a cluster committee, and that's what we're going to be doing, is creating a committee under the PNAA. And what does it entail? And so when you look at this screen here, you'll see entrepreneurship, innovation, capital, investment, government, academia, and so as we start looking at all the aspects of it, how does it all work together? And how do we actually have a cohesive vision and process to actually do collaboration? It's a great word, but how the heck do we do it? And all of us have some limited ability or experience in it, but we want to talk about some new ways to do it. So when you see the screen here now, you'll see all these different organizations that come together with government and, again, academia. You got corporations, and you got entrepreneurship, innovation, finance, and you bring all these together to the table to talk about how do we accomplish. And we're going to talk about constraints, but we got to bring everybody together. And that's what it looks like initially. So this is my job, right? These are Post-its, so we had to do it Zoom style. And so what we'll be doing is getting together in person and actually sitting down and thinking about and giving you an opportunity to give your input to what are the constraints? What are the solutions? Who's having success? Not everybody in the industry is having a hard time finding employees. Let's figure that out. Let's get that on the table, and let's get that out for a better understanding of why it's working for some and why it's not working for others. What about innovation? What about 4.0? What about resources to access new technologies in our companies? What's the impact? What's the internal political impact of new technologies and the ability to measure and advance? And so there's all these conversations that we need to have a strategic approach to doing. So we got together, and we did a whole bunch of Zoom meetings, and thank you to those that were on the line and patient with me. And this is our version of a Post-it board, one of the templates that the ICAP program provides. And
don't worry, we don't expect you to be able to read these. It's really just to show you all of the work that went into the conversations here. And
you'll see structure. You'll see at the top ambitions, and I'm going to touch on ambitions today just to get the conversation going here. But I wanted you to see that I didn't come up with these ambitions. You did. This is what we heard the industry say, and so we captured that and we put it in a little bit more legible form. So I want to touch on that really quickly if I can remember them all. Well, first off, we're talking about identify and the constraints. What's holding us back? And so right out of the gate, we started having conversations around workforce alignment. What about programs? What about technical programs? What about access to technical programs? We have actually, I was astounded at the amount of programs that we have. But do we all know about them? Does industry have an easy access to them? Do they know where to find them? Is a program that's available in Everett available in Moses Lake? You know, so it's not just, do we have the programs? It's like, do we have geographic access? And so, because we're talking about working statewide, we're really excited about bringing in partners, because we're an alliance. And so, and that's something that's been very exciting about PNA, is that we've always had a vision, always had that spirit of alliance where not one organization has all the answers. We want to collaborate with other organizations.
Well, and I think it's important to know we have a mature supply chain here, right? So the goal of this really is to bring everyone together. All of those things mentioned before, academia, entrepreneurship, bring them all to the table to solve the problems that we're having, so we can go, again, so we can go further, faster together.
So we had 5 focus areas, and I'll touch on those really quickly. You got workforce alignment, value stream mapping, which is really supply chain mapping. We're looking at increase the capabilities, so 4.0 initiatives essentially, and then also environmentally sustainable technologies and such. And then the last one is growth, marketing. And so the initial thing is to think about marketing to the world, but we need to market to our own people because we're looking for workforce. So what happens if we actually create a cohesive branding campaign and ignite the imagination of our young people? So I've got a story personal to me when it comes to that. And a few years back, my son's 14, and it's time to start looking at, those career programs, those 3 weeks in the summertime when they go and they explore a career at the local skill center. And so I handed him a piece of paper with a list of all these programs. I said, choose 4 and we'll talk about them. And so he chose 4. None of them were aviation. None of them were aviation because it wasn't in our family. We weren't talking about it. And so I said, I want you to consider aviation. 2 days later, he called me up and said, I want to do aviation. He's trained to be a helicopter mechanic today. And so are we accessing, are we sparking their imagination? He spent 3 weeks from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 in the afternoon seeing all these various aspects of aviation. And he hasn't been able to get free of it. He got the bug. So he got infected, which was fantastic.
Raise your hand if you've been infected by that same love for aviation that's kept you in this industry for so long. I thought so.
And obviously that brings me a great joy because growing up in the Northwest, having family that's been in production and management and manufacturing, having family members at commercial airliners and flying the big ones, and I think my grandfather retired on the DC-10 back in the 70s. But, so the growth is not just throughout the world, but it's really, again, reigniting the imagination of our young people. And we can do that. We really can do that. We defy gravity every day. Isn't that our job? That's our business, is to defy gravity every day. So let's spark the imagination of our young people.
Well, and we're going to be doing that out to the young people, so to fill the pipeline, as well as getting out to the other international air shows and things like that, and promoting what an incredible cluster that we have here to the rest of the world, whether that be Heli Expo or Farnborough or Paris. We're going to be creating marketing materials that really promote the amazing cluster and the capabilities that we have, like I mentioned, are unmatched in this region. And we need to be out into the world telling the rest of them how incredible it is here, because you can get all of these things taken care of without having to create a logistical mess of shipping things back and forth from country or even from state to do that, even cutting down and creating some sustainability through that, because you have finish, you have machining, you have all of the things that you need to do to create your components all within 3 or 4 states here in the Pacific Northwest.
Right. Very exciting.
Yes. So yeah, like we mentioned before, we're going to not only be touching on our primary activities, we really made sure that our focus areas blended well with our mission. So not only are we going to be supporting this from the ICAP program, this is in our very fiber of our being with PNA. So all of these focus areas blend well, so our events line up with it, and we're just going to push this through and bring everyone together to continue to take this industry forward.
Does that align with our mission? I've never heard anybody say that phrase more than Nikki. As long as I've known her, she's always, how's that line up with our mission? How does that line up with our mission? And our mission has always been about bringing people together and making us even more competitive than we already are. So I want to do a call out really quickly, if I could. We had tremendous support. We spent a lot of time on the phone, making calls, getting input, because we didn't want to create the ambitions. We wanted to hear from people. We wanted to find out about the resources that are out there. And so a few call outs. PTAC was very supportive in helping us get the proposal written. Impact Washington, you guys are awesome. You guys are always supporting us and connecting with us. AJAC was fantastic, lending us support. Oh, and then we got the Aerospace some consortium coming too. So everybody.
Stacy, Mark, thank you.
And then of course the Center of Excellence is right there at the front end, saying, "What can I do? What can I help you with? What else can we do?" And so we've got so many things. And there's a new phrase that we've been coining, and that is, there is no one organization that has all the answers. And that's exciting to me. That means I get to learn every day from you. We get to create, we have a structure, we have a framework that we're putting in place that gives everyone a place to have a voice and to impact. And when someone has a solution and someone has a constraint, let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Let's bring it all together. But again, one of the most innovative industries in the world. Let's innovate.
We're biased. It's the most innovative, right? Come on. I also want to just say a huge thank you to the Washington State Department of Commerce for putting their trust in us to be good shepherds of this program. And I have to tell you, I have been so encouraged by the state's involvement in aerospace lately, in creating aerospace committees that I'm going to be sitting on with Robin Toth, as well as supporting us through this ICAP. It's been amazing. I've been in the industry here for 22 years, and I am so encouraged by the involvement that the state is having in helping keep the aerospace supply chain rich here in Washington. So huge thank you to Washington State Department of Commerce.
And I just want to do a call out right now. Stephanie Scott's over there. Just put your hand up, Stephanie. So she's the ICAP program director, and she works tirelessly for all of our industries. So thank you, Stephanie.
So we need partners in this. We need people to come to the table, be on the committee. So please, if you see me or Dale, and this is something that you're interested in becoming a part of, driving innovation, overcoming the barriers, and once we've overcome those barriers, just crushing it in the industry here and taking us forward into continuing to be the best.
That's right. That's great. We're going into a networking break. Yes. Is that right? Yes. And so I was going to make an invitation. I'm going to come over there and join Stephanie. And if you want to come talk to us, have some more questions just to talk about during the networking break, we'd love to get your card and come over and have a conversation, ask your questions. Probably just created more questions than answers, didn't we?
That was the goal.
So join us.
So please, just join us in developing the most incredible aerospace cluster in the world. Thank you for listening.
Thanks. All right.